America, welcome to IPTV.
All right. Hey, what's up? It's your favorite girlfriend, Ebony Steele, and I have the Steele Standing podcast. But when I have people join me, it makes it just a little more interesting. So I am joined by a couple of the network cohorts. I want to welcome Angelica Robles. Hey there,
Hi,
lady.
how are you?
Very good. We're going to have Ed and the Felon. So the two of them, that's going to be very interesting. But also, I call him the D, Big D. Well, I'll just leave it at that. I don't want, your mind, grown folks. Darren Dickerson for Neighborhood News for our new Discovery and Distrust segment, because there's a lot of that going around these days, for sure. So we're also a content house. So anytime you want any information on anything you need to know, this is where you come. You can find that here with us. So let's go ahead and start. Today is a post Super Bowl. What are y'all's thoughts about?
Well, first of all, I want y'all to know is I came wardrobe ready. I got my little Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying, gear on. I was able to watch the game with my dad, which a lot of those
Nice.
who've been watching. I'm actually in Little Rock for Little Rock IPTV. I'm here with my father, and so that's really the first time my father and I watched the Super Bowl together, y'all.
That's really deep. Sometimes it's
Yeah,
the little things.
yeah,
Sometimes those
no,
special
I'm sitting
moments,
there.
they don't cost anything. So did your team win?
I mean, I did not want New England to win, so I can't say my team won, but the team I wanted to win did win. Yes.
Okay, I got you.
Angelica, where'd
Well,
you watch the game?
I
I'm
actually
at
watched.
69 Lounge. It's a new lounge in Houston that just opened last Friday. My own friend Kevin Daniels owns it, and what I hear is that 69 Lounge is going to be hot for spring break. So it's for the grown and sexy. So you hear 69. It has a vending machine with condoms and mints and toys and dildos and
Hence the name 6ix9ine.
yeah.
I was
It's
trying
not a
not to go
swingers
there.
club. It's not a swingers club. It's just sexually vibrant.
Got you. People are
I
comfortable with
like that.
themselves. I do too. That
No,
was very
sexually
well put.
vibrant. That was dope. Oh, I like the way what you
Yeah.
did with that. Yeah.
And year after year, they say that some of the most beautiful women in this country are in Houston. And I'm looking at you, Angelica. You are not letting us down,
Thank
sis.
you.
You are
I
holding.
appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Exactly. Like I have a guy friend, he says, okay, is she a Birmingham 10 or is she a Houston 10? Those two different things.
School me. You
Right. It's a,
know.
it's a whole nother thing. So Jay-Z produced the halftime. Of course, we know that was with
Yes.
Bad Bunny. And
Mhm.
his name has come up very recently regarding those Epstein files. What do we have to say about this? I think people are anticipating what these files are going to say. Jay-Z and Beyonce, we know, have ducked and dodged these allegations. I don't know what to think about it. I've seen some of the video and propaganda around it. What are your first thoughts?
I think it's true. I think there's been a long time coming of hiding and paying people off to keep secrets secret. But if you just look at the history, he brought, Rihanna from, was it Barbados? When she was very young.
14.
She was like
She came
15.
here
Give her that extra year, it was 15.
without a chaperone and was under the care of Jay-Z. So I don't know what parent would allow that. I wouldn't.
Well, and I'm going to ask because you're so politically correct, Angelica, but you spill the tea like a napkin won't wipe it up because you be having the tea. When you say you believe it's true, be specific in telling us what you say it's.
So the Epstein files are very, very intense and they're very massive. And they're, for names of that caliber to be in there, it says a lot, right? And for somebody as powerful as Jay-Z, I mean, him and Beyonce are over a billion in worth. For those names to be in there with the type of power and money that they have to get those names out, there has to be substantial evidence that he was involved in massive human trafficking.
Wow. Now,
And that's coming from
go ahead,
somebody
Darren.
who's a Fed, right? So she has that firsthand knowledge of how the whole system works. Now, for me, I started in music in '93 with Eazy-E, and these rumors have been surfaced around Jay-Z from as far back as Aaliyah. We just mentioned
Foxy Brown.
Rihanna, Foxy Brown, and the
Right.
crazy and the
Oh,
crazy part about it is there's been references in rap songs. DMX said you only got hot because you kept your face in Foxy's puss. Well, I mean, if we saying that, then that means his face was in Foxy's puss when he was 30, 20 something. She was a teenager.
I guess that's why that's the ill nana.
I mean, they called her the ill nana. I mean, if we don't want to talk about the little subliminal hints they've been giving us in the way they manage these girls, the way they reference them, how they were being used. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm first to say I was a Lil Kim fan, but if we go back and look at it, I mean, she was half naked every time she hit the stage. So Diddy, Jay Z, and now that we know there was all one big little clique, that it was Def Jam
We don't
and
know. We
Bad Boy.
allege.
And well, if you watch Irv Gotti's documentary, he pretty much said they were all working together on these different projects. And so when you look at a Jay-Z, Dame Dash said he stopped messing around with Jay because he did the tour with R. Kelly.
Okay. And I'm going to be, and I hate when people use the term devil's advocate, but I don't know whichever other one to use.
Mhm.
Would you all not agree that some of these things that are alleged, that include Jay-Z, that include Dame Dash, are things that they may have done? And I mean, you give somebody that got $1 million the first time in their life, and they've never seen $1,000. Do you think that their age may have had something to do with it, or do you think that there's? I want to ask you that, Miss Angelica, being that you are a Fed, for real, for real. Um, does that play have anything to play into it? Do you think that they were of age, or maybe they were kids making bad mistakes at that time too? You hear about the female babysitters that touch on the boys. That
Yeah, they were of age. If we're talking specifically of them, they were of age. They were over 21. These girls were definitely minors, and they were put in a situation where they had to almost like perform, literally perform. They had to be in their best behavior because they were promised a bigger life. They were promised record deals. So they were going to do everything that they needed to do to get to the deals, even if it included doing whatever it is that they did. But the simple
Allegedly.
fact that these girls were getting literally extorted, like they were being, there was a
groomed.
well, there was a story about what Jay-Z had told Rihanna. He said, "There's only two ways out of here."
Tell me about your audition with Jay-Z. Tell me what he said to you.
A really good audition.
Yes.
But before I met him, I was so nervous. I was shaking literally.
Yeah. So then what did he say to you? He said something to you about a window and a door or something.
Oh, then he said, he did it
Oh, I did a lot of homework on you, Miss Lady.
He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
So you was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I'm signing.
Yeah.
Either through the window or without a record deal.
Or with the record deal,
Wow.
yeah. No,
So
she's retold that story, and
I'll take the record
it's
deal for 10.
yeah, no, it's a funny anecdote when everyone's smiling and we haven't really peeled back the layers, right? But
yeah,
then you peel back the layers, you realize when she was 15 years old, she's in this office. And apparently, they had been together for the entire day. So now, what time of day is this? Is it nighttime, evening time? How much drinking and smoking and West Side coasting have been going on? Like, I'm gonna speak real because I know what I was a party to, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a
yeah.
manager and as a manager in the '90s, I did clubs. I mean, I did one of the hottest clubs in LA for a long time. Platinum Live, shout out to my homeboy Black and Deno. And my staff was 7 women. Now, I didn't exploit the women on my team, but when Me Too happened, this is real spit. I would call people to say, "Hey, listen, is this something?" Before you go on the internet and
Is
start
there
talking shit
something we need
about
to talk
me,
about?
let you know. And the truth of the matter is that there is a certain level of exploitation that's inherent in Hollywood. That models want to be seen and be known. So if you know models, you invite them out to the party and make sure they get VIP premium seating, but they can't buy no drinks. So now you got to get the dudes in the VIP who gonna buy the drinks. And if you know athletes, rappers, now you kind of, I wouldn't say I was playing Cupid, but I was definitely saying playing matchmaker for the evening. If I can get the guy to have a good time, get the girl to have a good time, then that was a good night for us at the
I
at the
mean, I
club at
will
the
say
bar.
this. 5 years ago, when I entered into Hollywood, and the first year that my book published, I was at every single show that I could possibly be at. I remember I spent $54,000 in just travel expenses, hair, makeup, all that stuff, because I was trying to sell my story to Hollywood.
Wow.
One thing that a producer told me, don't say that you're an actress, because they would look at me and they're like, oh, are you an actress? And they would start with the sexual innuendos. So you know what I did? My introduction starts Angelica Robles, former undercover agent. And that would shut it down so quickly. They're like, oh, you're not
Girl,
an
I am I,
actress.
I am purely heterosexual, but the way you just said that right now, that was just so sexy. I was an
Thank you.
undercover agent. Like,
Yeah,
yes.
and then and I remember one of the producers said, every time you introduce yourself in Hollywood, you start with that because you want them to see you as an authority figure and also so that they don't take advantage of you.
So let me understand this. We're talking to Angelica Robles, and of course, we have Darren here as well, who's our on the street guy. There are so many things out there. The feds cannot possibly get everybody. What do you guys look for, or how deep will you dig into finding out if these charges? Because clearly it could have been done by now. What's what's the holdup on the allegations?
They all have to be, like I said before, these are cases that need to be looked at. There's got to be substantial evidence. Having names be on pieces of paper is not substantial evidence. I'm talking videos, pictures, people saying Jay-Z touched me, they did this, they did that. It has to all be corroborated and it all has to check out. And these cases take years and years and years to indict. And a lot of people think just because a paper says something or somebody said something that you already have a case. My ex told me he was part of the cartel and the feds never even investigated him. Yet they investigated me and blacklisted me, but they never
And when you
opened an
say
investigation.
blacklisted from,
Department of Defense. So I can no longer work for Department of Defense. But that doesn't mean I can't work for Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security. So that's one of the
it's
things that I
very,
learned. You could
that's,
get blacklisted from one agency, but picked up by another one.
wow. Okay. Very, very interesting. We're going to dig into that some more, but somebody has a lot to say about this, and that's Jaguar Wright. Um, what you saying, Dad? Raising, ooh, pick me,
Man,
pick
I'm
me.
saying,
Pick
I'm
me, pick
saying,
me.
Jaguar right. She
Yeah, we'll
Jag,
see.
you been right, Jag. We have to say it again. You're you man. You're right. I'm gonna say it. We know it, but I have to say it. You're right, Jag.
You
Yeah,
want to know what's funny? You know what this feels like? This feels like, somebody telling, a younger family member, I know you're knocked up. And they keep saying, no, I'm not, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. And then you see him at the family dinner 4 months later with their belly on swole. You know what I mean? And they say, you was right. Yeah. Was that?
yeah.
I
I,
don't know.
we need to give her flowers. We all need to get. I mean, some of us who kind of knew that she was right, even there was times she was like, damn, she kind of taking a little bit far with this. But now Jaguar Wright has been vindicated to the fullest, period. And we
Right.
need to go back and relook at all her videos, take notes, and go back and investigate every single thing she said. Because between Jaguar, we need to give her flowers. We all need to get. I mean, some of us who kind of knew that she was right, even there was times she was like, damn, she kind of taking a little bit far with this. But now Jaguar Wright has been vindicated to the fullest, period. And we
Right.
need to go back and relook at all her videos, take notes, and go back and investigate every single thing she said. All right, and Cat Williams, they need to start investigation agency.
They were.
Wow. Investigation. Well, okay. Very seldom have I heard of any sexual predator case, especially when you're talking about in Hollywood, that does not involve alcohol or drugs. I mean, even if you think about Bill Cosby, what call him Bill Cosby, how much do you think that has to play into swaying? Because young people, there's a reason why there's an age limit, because when you're under 21 or under 18, you're very impressionable, especially when you want to be close to somebody in Hollywood or be in Hollywood. How often do you not see drugs, or do you think that they play a big part?
They do play a big part. Sex, drugs, money, power. It all goes hand in hand. Remember what Paul Hutchinson said: greed, money, and power. That's what fuels all these things that are popping up, especially with the human trafficking and the young sexual, really statutory rape. That's what it
Right.
is. And it's
Wow.
crazy because if you're 18 and she's 16, it's still statutory rape,
That's
even if
Unless
it's
you're
a
in high
2-year
school, then they
difference.
call it Romeo and Juliet law. But you got to both be in the same high school and have gone to school together.
that's too many rules. That's just too many.
Or you
Wow.
have the 21-year-old with the 15-year-old or the 16-year-old. But in their case, it was 27 and 15. At 27, you're grown enough to understand that a 15-year-old is still a teenager.
I remember being 16 or 17. Yeah, because I was in high school and I was driving. Okay, so I had to be 16 or 17. And there was this guy that I met I actually went to a college party, and I'll just say it was a Kappa party. He was a Kappa, and it was like he was 26.
Wow.
And right, gave him my number. I would sneak to see him, But after a while, I was like, what's wrong with the women your age to where you want to be with me? You know what I mean? For me, it became a turn off, when you're looking at that age gap. But I don't know. I guess they're so impressed, want to get into the parties. And do you think Jaguar, because Jay-Z's not the only person that she's accused, what is her end game?
I think her end game is really and I always say this, I think her end game is she's trying to speak for those that aren't being spoken for. Because whenever there's one person, there's more. And a lot of people will go their lives without saying anything and will just harbor all this inside. But when one person says something, then they all just start pouring out. And I think that's what she's trying to do, is she's really trying to be a voice. So, because once you have that courage to say something, you're all in. You better be all in.
Right. Darren, looked like you had something.
And well, her son died under suspicious circumstances. Of course, she believes that his life was claimed because of what she was saying. She's very much in the space of there's demons and evil forces that are surrounding this industry. And honestly, when she first started coming out, I do believe that for her it was maybe, excuse me, a spiritual cleansing, right? That a lot of people who have been in Hollywood, and especially depending on who you were around and what cliques you were in, you've seen a lot, and I'm pretty sure,
Sure.
Angelica, you can speak to this about how just witnessing trauma, how it plays out in your life. And eventually, some people just feel the need to I feel like people have been just confessing their souls, that they have been witnessing, or maybe they didn't get the money they was. And I'm not saying this about Jaguar, because I'm not gonna label that on her. But a lot of people who have been coming out, it was either I didn't get the financial money I was supposed to get, or maybe I done blew the fuck up now in case of Cat Williams and y'all can't touch me. There's a myriad of reasons as to why people decide they need to go ahead on and bare their soul. But now we're seeing that a lot of these early people who had started talking, right?
Right.
Now Dave Dash don't look as crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he's still gonna look crazy that time he took his off online and then came back and tried to redo it and said, see, I told y'all they real. No, sir. Your whole face, half of your face just fell off in your hand. But
Hey,
anyway, I
man, I can't let
digress.
you call go in on Dave like that, man. I gotta say, that's my dude. Unapologetic. You know what I'm saying? He might even be quiet sometimes, but yeah. Dave has that. He stood on principle though, and now we
Right.
see a lot of these people who've been standing on business, right? Saying, hey, I'm not with it. You know
Well,
what I
his
mean?
teeth
I'm
were
not.
not standing on business. As a matter of fact, that's why he got his name, because his damn teeth dashed out his mouth. Dang,
That's funny.
teeth dasher.
No, but my question is, what are we seeing from the mainstream media? Like, I'm watching some of these media shows now, and they are literally jumping through hoops, doing lyrical gymnastics, trying not to say, like, they don't say a child rapist, child. They're saying stuff like underage victim, and it's crazy
It's
that the
crazy.
mainstream media is not having even this conversation to this level.
You're right, but you know one thing, Angelica, that kind of scares me is the fact that when there's statistics out there, and I believe statistics when it comes to rape and those type of crimes are pretty close to nailing it on the head. That means that some people we know are sexual predators.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a breast cancer survivor. 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer in their lives. 1 in 4 people got herpes. I'm just saying. So you sit in a
And I
room
think
with
people
8
don't even
people,
know that they have it.
right? So that's a whole nother story. But I'm just saying, as far as the sexual predators, man, who do we know around us
Well, I
that?
mean, let's talk about this. Do you remember To Catch a Predator? It was so big and
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just
yeah.
disappeared. Why did it disappear? Because it was shedding light on the fact that these sexual predators were respected leaders of our community. It was pastors, it was CEOs, it was business owners. It wasn't what people thought. It was like, the rapist down the street. Like, no, it was your pastor.
Well, what a perfect time to bring in the Epstein files, since we're talking about that, and continuing on to talk about it, because they're talking about millions of pages that it could take years to go through all of this. And of course, we know 47, that's the reigning president of the United States. Of course, he wants to put these to a stop, or revealing these. What people, or who do you think is going to surprise us when all is said and done with this, Angela? Being a Fed, what have you seen, or what do you think? I mean, we're talking millions of pages.
I think, what did they say? They're 3 votes away from impeaching him. I think that all this stuff, okay, I'm going to say this because I wanted to land. All this stuff is strategically released for a bigger cause. These Epstein files have been around, but now they're being shown, now they're being leaked, now they're being put up front. So it almost feels like things had to get really fucked up
Yeah.
for them to use this Hail Mary and be like, you know what, this is the time right now. Let's go ahead and release this because things are getting out of hand. So I think it was strategically released for a bigger cause, which is with the intent to impeach him. Because why else would they be released?
Darren, you made a face. What are you talking about?
You know what's
Impeachment.
crazy? Okay, I'm on the YouTube rabbit hole every night. I'm reading everything Epstein, and until you said that, if someone else had said it, I might have been like, "Ah, no, you crazy. This is people." But I have been thinking that if you go back to the 80s and 90s, right? Donald Trump was a Democrat. There are
Oh yeah.
tons of pictures with him with tons of Democrats. Okay, if you really wanted to destroy the Republican Party, right? Wouldn't he be the perfect double agent? Like the stuff he was saying in the beginning, he brought all of the crazies out. I said I was happy that Donald Trump was going to win because America needed to realize how racist it really was. How do you show that? Right? How do you show the hypocrisy and the double standard? Now, I'm on some deep in the woods conspiracy theory with the angle I'm coming from. But to hear Angelica say, we can't stop him. I mean, Lindsey Graham was, you go back and look at what all these people were saying about him before he actually won the primary the first time. He's crazy, he's a degenerate, he's this, he's this, he's this, he's this. How do you get all these people to switch up? Blackmail. Period. He knew who was homeless. I mean, I think he been blackmailing all these dudes from the beginning because he had stuff on them. And if you really want to go look at, if you don't know who Roger Stone is, if you don't know the FBI under J. Edgar Hoover and J. Edgar Hoover and Roy Cohn, if you don't know that Roy Cohn and Oliver Stone was one of his little minions, you don't understand that there's a whole bunch of information that they was collecting on people and using against people for years.
Right.
Yeah,
And
blackmail.
then in walks Epstein, who says, hey, y'all doing this all wrong. Why don't you cater to their vices, right? Because in The Godfather 2, the main theme was a senator who was having sex, gets caught with where he unalives a girl, and he said, we used to do it all the time. We was having fun. These little subliminal messages been being sent to us the whole time, and we just didn't see it. Now, I didn't see the angle that you just said, Angelica. Like, at what point how do you stop Donald Trump? If you now a real Republican and you see, okay, no, he's not genius. It's not some fourth level dimensional chess he's playing, right?
Right.
That he's really a little bit out here now. How do you rein that in when you've given him complete control?
In recent weeks, and especially in recent days, with the latest of the went on his rant and then posted the photo of Michelle and our beloved Michelle and Barack Obama, as apes or as monkeys, to just blow it off. Oh, we were doing a spin off of The Lion King. There were no apes or monkeys in Lion King, sir. And I don't know why this came to mind. I think about my counterparts that I consider friends that are non-Black. And, some people you give a pass. Hey, when it comes to my taxes and my money, I just did this, X, Y, Z. The way Trump has it set up, it's just better for my money. That's why I'm down with him. If that's your only reason for being down with him, if you're still down with him after that posting and you okay that, of our first Black couple being portrayed randomly. He hasn't been in the office for a year. You won. Why would you do that? And why would you break up friendships and homes? He makes everything so divisive, and that's what hurts. Because if you're my friend and you're still down with him and you okay those pictures, that's how you see me too. You see me as a monkey.
Yeah.
That's how you look at me. Because that's not okay.
Man, don't y'all understand that he is a diabolical genius? He dropped that picture leading into the weekend with a Super Bowl where all the conversation was Epstein, Jay-Z, Super Bowl, and then
He's trying to divert. Yeah.
The first weekend of Black History Month. I mean, seriously.
What better time to shift the narrative? Angelica,
I
help
feel
me.
what you're saying. And maybe I need to get out of my feelings because I just really could not believe, number one, that somebody could just be so blatantly evil. But number two, I'm more afraid of the people that still support him after that. If I look on the street where I live and more people are going with Trump, I'm really afraid because that's not okay.
I say all the men who are on these podcasts,
specific illicit desire to want underage people.
Well, I
very
underage people. No, little girls, children, not underage people. Would you say, oh, he's an overage toddler? No, you wouldn't say that. Notice the softening of the language because he's protecting the Epstein class.
How do you even find out that someone's into that?
Well, I don't think that the majority or anything close to it of the women were technically, I think it was largely very young, barely legal, so to speak. And I know that there were cases of underage, but I think
most of it was just
very, very young, but not like
20-year-old
not
girls,
like 13 type thing. And then remember, because this is an international enterprise, and many of the clients are like in countries that don't necessarily have the same norms about that that we do. You can very easily see someone getting involved in that just because girls juice deals.
Girls juice deals?
Still supporting Trump. I know you're a pedo. I know that somehow you're trying to find out a way to say, well, maybe the girls wasn't as young as they, he really doesn't like underage children. He likes some borderline. I'm sorry. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to me and my man whore days, right? I didn't like young girls because they weren't experienced, even when I was a young dude. Right. So what I'm trying to understand is saying, what kind of sexual joy and gratification are you getting out of this? It cannot be. I remember when the R. Kelly tape dropped. When I saw the tape, I was a huge R. Kelly fan. I mean, I locked in with 12 play. You know what I'm saying? And so when I went and saw the tape, what I was looking for, and I was still in my man stuff like a lot of these dudes are right now, because I was ready to give him a pass had she been a fully developed underage girl. I'm saying that in all honesty, right? Because I'm hoping like, okay, maybe he just couldn't tell, right? Or maybe he just didn't know. So then when I saw the girl and she had the chest of a 14-year-old boy, and there was nothing.
Oh, she was getting it. She was.
No, but she was tiny. She was a little girl. But I'm saying that there was nothing that a man should be attracted to. That's when I knew we was down a whole other rabbit hole with men who were trying to make it be okay, and then women who were trying to make it be okay because they like his music. Nah, because on some level maybe you was touched on. Maybe on some level maybe that's what you're into, and now you're doing all this because you don't want to admit that you got your problems too. What did you say? We all know pedophiles, right?
Well, by the numbers, we have to. I mean, that's just, I mean.
So doesn't it make sense that some of this crazy combo ain't really them just not getting it?
Well, I used to say, or I used to feel like Donald Trump has money. It ain't about money. It's about power. He likes that. And I used to also say, I don't even think he's racist. I think he's just ignorant, ill-mannered, and just not a nice person. But now we know, and people are like, Ebony, we should have been knowing it. No, we know without a shadow of a doubt that he is racist. And when you accuse white people of being racist, they get afraid, they don't want to be. You still continue to support him. That's your silence says everything.
What do y'all think, because you guys are Black, about Nicki Minaj?
Oh, shit.
What Nicki Minaj did.
Check his credit score to remind you. I think Nicki Minaj went way overboard. I don't know if there's some mental, I don't know.
I think it was ego dressed in desperation.
In desperation. And, her father, and is it her brother or her husband or whatever that is? 3 men in her life I know of that have been, what is it, nephew? Pedophiles. She's been attached to that. People in her family.
And they all got cases she's trying to help them fight.
So, and then being the fact that she's not from the United States, is she wanting to just secure that she doesn't get sent back, or her family or her? But to say, I'm his biggest fan, I like him more than anybody, and I don't care who disagrees with me.
She must have gotten paid a lot of money for her to sell her soul like that.
Amber Rose,
more money than her records can never make, because she's not going to be selling no more records like she used to.
Nah, how about this? Nicki is mad, but because she only got 3-point-some odd million from the sale of Tidal. See, y'all gotta be going what's going on in hip hop. So Jay-Z sold Tidal and made almost 300 million. So what?
She's also mad because she doesn't have a Grammy.
Yeah, but this was more recent. Because Jay-Z was promising everybody who put their stuff on Tidal in the beginning that they was gonna make a bunch of money back. And if you remember when Kanye put The Life of Pablo on Tidal, he only left it up there for a minute because it wasn't making no money, and he snatched it back down, right? Mm-hmm. So Nicki and everybody else, because he did his on the love of being Jay-Z, then Jay-Z came back and gave everybody these deals, and they got points. Okay, cool, his points. So Jay-Z sells Tidal. Well, the artist that he used, which Nicki was one of them, and Nicki went hard, and her album that was on Tidal actually made noise. She thinking when he do the big sale, okay, yeah, we know the contract say I get the 3 point whatever on the points, but Jay gonna look out on this 300 million. And
Didn't happen.
she went on a warpath and started talking noise. Now we don't know what went on behind the scenes because we know Jay and Diddy, they do a lot of dirty low down stuff behind the scenes, and she's saying subliminally that people, I'm no longer gonna be quiet, I'm no longer gonna be silenced. So she went and got a bigger bully. Now I don't agree selling your soul to get a bigger bully, but we really don't know Nicki's financials. We don't know what she's been doing. We know Cardi's financials because Cardi got down with somebody else and they built something together. Nicki been solo out here by her whole self. We don't know what kind of money she really sitting on. We don't know what
You
kind
know
of
what
taxes she
90%
owes.
of traders have in common?
What's that?
Financial issues. That's what we look for, is their financial issues. Because you have to be so desperate enough to turn your back and become a trader.
Say that one more
Financial
time.
issues.
I think that's profound. You said no, that's the
Yeah.
number one as a Fed.
Yeah, as a Fed, 90% of traders have financial difficulties, financial issues. Whenever we do our deep dive investigations, that's the number one thing that we look at is financial hardships, because financial hardships is what gets you up against the wall. That'll get you into being a spy or a trader. If you look at all the traders, Snowden, all the whistleblowers, they all had financial hardships.
They say
So
everybody has a price.
therein is probably right. You know, she probably overspent, money probably wasn't coming in. She had to let go of something bigger than herself and do what she did, because that was ballsy to go up there with that furry coat and say what she said and do what she did
In front of the world. I was
in
just
front of the world.
I mean, is there any coming back from that? You hear about people getting, canceled in the culture. Is there let's go back now.
I don't
Who did
think
we
so.
have? We had Snoop Dogg, we had somebody else, nephew help me out, that performed for Trump in the beginning.
Nelly?
Oh, Chrisette Michelle, that she was on the list for a minute, who I love.
Nelly?
Nelly spoke out
Yeah,
on
but
Sunday.
Nelly's a nobody at this point. So
But
it was in his best interest
You
to get up
cannot say
there.
that about country grammar.
I mean,
well,
what has he done since? Let's think about
They
it.
Dance with the Stars. He killed
The
it.
biggest news
I
is
don't think
he
it hurts Snoop.
married Ashanti. That's it. That was the biggest news in the last 2-3 years.
Oh, Lil Wayne was pardoned. Kanye. And this is a sidebar. This was years ago when Trump was in office the first time. And I read a headline that said, Kim Kardashian meets with President Trump at the White House regarding prison reform. And I was like, what if we would have showed us this 20 years ago? We'll be like, wait a minute, Kim Kardashian at the White House? Trump is the president? But these are the times that we're really living in. We would have thought that headline was a joke 15, 20 years ago. Am I lying?
Now, I'm telling y'all, if you have not seen this movie called Idiocracy, you need to go watch it. It is the very terrifying truth that talks about this future where everybody is dumb and being smart is a bad thing and it's crazy. And I got to shout out to Terry Crews because Terry Crews plays the president in it. It's a wild ass movie. But it's
Idiocracy?
fun. Idiocracy. You got to see Idiocracy. It'll make you laugh and probably make you cry all at the same time.
Wow.
But the reality is this, right? Either Trump is the most amazing psyop that the Democrats ever came up with, right? Or he finally reached that tipping point of shaking you can only, I know this from being in the street, right? You can have a dude intimidated and scared, but you can only push that so far before even that scary dude is going to figure out a way to get that pressure off of them. So when I look at a Marco Rubio, right, and what he said about little Marco Rubio and how bad he talked about Ted Cruz's wife, I'm sorry, bro. There's got to be a whole bunch of people who every evening meet up somewhere just to talk about when we gonna get this dude.
That's why your local elections are so important.
Yeah.
Because if your representatives aren't voicing your opinion, everything is so. I mean, for this dude to come and put his name in front of Kennedy on the Kennedy Center.
And he
To
closing
change
it.
the
He
Gulf of
closing it in 100
Mexico to the
months. It's gonna be
Gulf
closed for
of
the next 2-3 years. He gonna close it for the rest of his presidency.
And number one reason, you know, I think those two assassination attempts were hoaxes. But this is what I also think. People are like, I wish it
I
did
see the
die.
same
Somebody
thing.
kill
I
him.
see the same thing
No,
too.
Well, you gotta
I
hear
don't.
Angelica go in
Well, no,
on the how she believed that it's hoaxes. Hey, I know
let me
that
finish. I was in the middle of a sentence that was the
I'm
beginning
sorry.
of a sentence. Yeah. Okay. Right. So when people thought it was a hoax, or what I think it's a hoax, my thing is I don't want him to. Well, because I'm a Christian, I don't want anybody to die under just circumstances until the Lord calls you home. But if he's assassinated, he's going to go down with the names of greats like Abraham Lincoln, Kennedy. We don't want him that name to be in that pool.
Now, Lee Harvey was also in that group. He was assassinated.
There's a few bad ones. You're right. There are a few bad ones.
No,
But
him,
of the greats,
no, Mussolini got drugged through the streets.
well, President Trump wears separables as suits. So I don't trust any man that buys his jacket and pants off a different rack. Okay. Um, I'm all
Hey,
about solutions. What is our solution to? I think all of this stems, and people think the two main emotions are love and hate. The two main emotions are love and fear. Hate comes from fear. People are racist because they fear something. It's not because they hate. You know, you talk to little kids. My dad tells me about when he grew up in Mobile, Alabama, his best friend was a white boy that was 6 years old, and they would sneak and have to play together. Why is
Damn.
that? All of these
Yeah.
things of fear and hate are manifested from it's generational. It's brought down.
Mhm.
Some people that hate black people don't even know why.
You know, which is crazy because the U.S. is stolen land. If you think about it, these white people, they weren't even here. Y'all came on a boat.
Exactly. There's so
It's
much.
it's stolen land. Like, so I'm Aztec indigenous. So I have Aztec, I'm Mexican Aztec indigenous in me. So in my mind, it's like, oh, y'all think that this is your country. This is stolen land.
Just it's so
No,
and
but even to the point you were just making. So when I went into the military, I was in the Army for 7.5 years, and in basic training, right. The very first thing they did was they put us into little groups, and so we all had little jobs, and so they put me and this one guy named Fedek. Shout out to my homeboy Fedek, in a little small room to clean weapons. Like, so now we're in this small room, and you have an idea when you have a small arms room, Angelica, how tight that can be. And so now we're actually having to clean all the rifles, all the guns. So we're in there for hours. So the first hour or so go by, and this dude is not saying nothing. And so now I'm realizing, okay, he maybe not haven't been around black people, so I kind of break the ice, right? This dude was from South Dakota. He had never been around black people at all. And once I got him comfortable, he needed to ask me and verify every stereotype that he had ever heard about black people, right? Now we ended up being there because it was a whole day cleaning thing. So we were in there all day, 5 hours we had, because it takes this long to clean all these weapons, right? So I'm like, bro, just go ahead, man. You can ask me whatever. I ain't gonna be offended, nothing like that. So he asked me, so do black people like watermelon? So when he asked me, I said, do you like watermelon? He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I said, okay, is watermelon good? Yes. Well, all people like watermelon. He
he
asked me about
liked
the
chicken
fried
too.
chicken. No, he asked me about fried chicken. I mean, these were his very first questions. And so then I asked him, I said, what do you know about black people, right? He said, I just know what my uncles and them have told me, my family have told me about black people. And before I could say something, he said, but I never really trusted them because they ain't a black person for 300 miles. So how do they even know? That always stuck with me.
And how do we
That
break
before I could
that?
even respond, he said the people who have been teaching him about black people, which is why he came into the military, he didn't trust their opinion because there wasn't a black person for 300 miles and they hated black people.
It's blueprint, generational
Yeah,
blueprint.
yeah. I was kind of trolling Twitter last or X during the Super Bowl, and it was interesting to me. Coco Jones saying the Black National Anthem.
And did the thing.
X went crazy Why are they always so divisive? There's only one national anthem. Why do black people do this? I can't stand, you know what I'm saying? And and Trump perpetuates that's what he wants, that divide. And all of these negative, and I'm preaching to the choir. He has to continue to stimulate his base and keep them, hey, wink, wink, I'm racist too. Don't forget now. I got to do. But now it's like he's just Blake Bold, doesn't care.
I'm trying to tell you, Ebony, he has managed to keep people from talking about the Epstein. All of this is to not talk about the Epstein files. He went total nuclear. That play right there, it's like the joke where the guy says, "Hey, I got one trick. I can do this one trick. I can only do it one time. Okay, show us the trick." And the dude douses himself with gasoline, sets himself on fire. Everybody says, "Oh, that's amazing. Hey, you gonna do that trick one time?" So he's gone full nuclear. Right? He's gone full nuclear. And this is how you know. I heard a commentator say Donald Trump's name is mentioned more in the Epstein files than Harry Potter's name in all the books combined.
Wow.
You can only sweep the dust under the rug so many times until the rug starts getting lumpy, and it's lumpy now. And there's no running away from it. Especially because everybody's so involved now.
Well, so Alex, I'm gonna ask you, ladies, if you're Ted Cruz's wife and you see Donald Trump teetering, are you telling Ted to kick the chair?
I am, but I'm not Ted Cruz's wife.
But I'm just saying, if you Marco Rubio's, I do not believe that these people are so gutless and so weak that when they see him weak, that somebody won't try to put the knife in it. Julius Caesar.
I think they're scared. They're scared.
What did I say?
I believe, but the MAGA base has left him. When they went out and said that the dude Purdy, who got shot in
that's what I was about to say,
Minneapolis, was okay to be shot because he had a gun, he lost his hardcore base because they're like, hold on, buddy. That's how we've been preaching for the last 10 years. We don't want to hear that. And now they're looking at him like, wait a minute, are you really one of us?
Yeah. It's a lot.
I'm saying to you, that fact terrifies him more than anything, that the MAGA people will no longer see him as MAGA, and those same people want the Epstein files released. He's in a trick bag. The people who he really need to stay hot on him want the Epstein files out.
And as long as the Epstein files are, I heard that if they did a thorough investigation, that it would really take 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
To go through all of that information.
Probably even 10. It's a lot.
I'm excited. It's going to be dripping out and dripping out and dripping out. And whenever they want to take somebody down, it's going to drip out. Oh, no pun intended. Pause, as they would say on the East Coast. No, I'm saying, do you understand the next 5 years, we are, when you asked the question, and for me, I'm telling you, there's going to be some straight-laced, button-up, that we would have never freaking imagined that's going to come out in these files. That part I do believe.
I do too.
The Epstein files being out right now, I'm sorry, it's even causing the Savannah Guthrie case to be looked at sideways. Tell me some of us are not waiting for it to come out that one of them kids done killed that mama?
It's something fishy with that. Something we're going to do.
But guess what? Maybe it's not. But it's just because of the climate that's been created. There is absolutely no trust in the media and no trust when people go before a camera. We now assume that you are all pedophiles, rapists, murderers, backstabbing thieves. That's what Trump has created.
That's true. He's made an environment. Speaking with a girlfriend of mine, she has a set of twins, and her twins are 11. And she was saying that she thought it was so hurtful that when we were younger, they would say, you can be anything you want to be. You can be a doctor, a lawyer. You can even be the president of the United States. And her daughters were like, oh, I wouldn't. You have to be mean to be that. And it just hit her like a ton of bricks. She's like, since my daughters have been of age to listen and understand the news and the media and what's going on, their idea of presidency is Donald Trump. They think that this is the norm. They have no idea of the class and respect and going by the rules that former presidents may have done, calling people names. It's just, it's horrible. We're going to wrap this up. What did you guys learn today?
There's a lot coming out, and I can't wait for it.
Well, I learned that we're gonna have to do this again probably the next day or so because the breaking news is coming up. But because I do believe that this type of conversation we're having is not being had in other spaces, not this way. I think other media is slanted to one side or slanted to the other side. You know, I would be remiss if I didn't say, hey, make sure you guys Angelica Robles official.com. Go check out her website. Married to the Cartel is the book. You guys know we have Freeway Ricky Ross, Cracking the System. You know, you can learn a lot just from reading these books about what we're really dealing with and facing today. We got the Fed and the Felon gonna be dropping soon. Ebony, we love coming on your show to have this conversation. So
I love
we're
it.
gonna be doing this again and again and again.
How about the Fed, the Felon, and the Friend?
Yep, come on. And listen, and for all you guys who watch it, make sure you go check out Ebony's interviews that are, I know the Rodney Perry interview is up. We're going to be dropping the Anthony David interview soon. You got Vanessa Del Calloway coming up. And so that's one of the things we also want to do with this, make sure we're taking the opportunity to highlight everybody else's projects and make sure we're tuning in. So throughout the show, you've probably seen pop-ups and links to some of those content. So feel free, click one, check it out. You enjoy it.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you, Angelica. So I can't wait for us to do this again.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on.
So much vision, and just thank you for being transparent and open and speaking, because at the end of the day, I will always say knowledge is power, and we're going to continue to bring the knowledge to our people, and that doesn't include a certain race, color, creed. Our people is our people.
The non-pedophiles, the non-abusers, the non-victimizers. We started a whole new clique and club. If you a decent human being, come on over.
That's what's up. All right. Y'all have a good one.
UIN, IPTV, Little Rock IPTV, SoCal IPTV, England IPTV. Make sure you check it out. You can watch it also on YouTube, wherever you guys stream. Thank you, Ebony. You the bomb, baby.
Thank you. Y'all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Left hand by Isaiah Johnson.
He's scared to counter.
Oh, left hand to the body sends Frank Brown down for the second time in this fight. And for twice, it was body shots that did it.
You can put a fork in him. I believe he's done.
Yeah.
That will end this fight.
America, welcome to IPTV.